Good morning, dear friends. I'm Dr. Mukesh Parikh, and today, very early in the morning, I decided to enlighten my viewers regarding a different kind of feminism that is called French feminism. First of all, most of my younger students might not be aware of that feminism as a term talks about equal rights of women. But when we talk about feminism in literary criticism, we have a term, feminist literary criticism. It means this category looks at how women have been represented in literature, and then they question that representation. So, feminism is different, and feminist literary criticism is different. Clear? And apart from that, if someone goes in deep studies, he or she comes to know of distinctions between Canadian feminism, American feminism, Afro American feminism, Indian feminism. There are different feminisms actually. It's a plural entity. One must not, a scholar must not consider it something, an umbrella term, but you should know that under this blanket term, there are different kinds of feminisms because the condition of women is different, throughout the world. So today I am here to enlighten you regarding French feminism. The very first important aspect is that it focuses on the question of separatism and on changing relations between theory and practice. Theory is a different thing. As I just said, that when we talk about feminist literary criticism, we are just dealing with the theory part, okay? But as per practice is concerned, like how in sociology, how in Marxism, how in psychoanalysis, okay, and how in the corporate world, how in police, how in schools and colleges, in teaching, even at the secure place of home, how these theories are practiced. Okay, so this is the contribution of French feminism, that they question that feminism is a plural entity. This idea actually was given by the French theorists, and this French feminism as a term gained currency around 1970s. Okay, so this feminism asks how feminists can act for change and form effective coalitions with other movements. And it also argues that feminism is plural, as I've already said, and often fragmented and diffuse. So, altogether, we come to know now, just because of thanks to this French feminism, that we come to know about that different realities occur, different realities exist in the society. Okay, and who is the pioneer one in the French feminism? Though there are other names, but the most common name, as per the students are concerned, for the benefit of students, let me inform that Simone de Beauvoir, that existential thinker whose book The Second Sex, I think all of you must be aware of, she pioneered up to an extent, if we say that, French feminism. Okay, and in the English speaking world, because mostly we say that, in, if you go to France, you find that they talk in a very different manner. They mostly talk about psychoanalysis. They mostly talk about their political scenario, and they are more practical regarding feminism. Clear? But as per the departments of English are concerned throughout the world, we call them, like, English speaking world. And in this world, the term French feminism refers to the branch of theories and philosophies by and about women that emerged in the 1970s and 1980s and 1990s. These ideas have run parallel to, and sometimes in contradistinction to, the political feminist movement in France, but is often referred to as French feminist theory, distinguished by an approach which is more philosophical and literary. One more thing, that French feminists, they talk about, they question psychoanalytical thinkers, they question the philosophical thinkers or philosophers, and this body of writing tend to be effusive and metaphorical, being less concerned with political doctrine and generally focused on theories of the body. So, écriture feminism, for example, you must have come across the word. They talk about, like, how language, can be a site of difference, how body can be the site of oppression and difference. So these ideas emerged from French feminism. Now let me talk about the first three, four thinkers for the benefit of my students for their exam. Notable representatives include Monique Wittig. This is the first name. Monique, Monique Wittig, who coined the phrase heterosexual contract, and she was a landmark in lesbian feminism. Second name is Helen Sixou, Helenecixous. We pronounce this word Sixou. Sixou is best known for her article, The Laugh of the Medusa. This article is again very famous, and if we have come across many questions in net regarding this article. It has become a seminal essay, particularly because it announces that what Sixou called écriture feminine, I have just talked about, that male language is different, and the language written by a woman is different. Okay, and écriture here means writing, and feminine mean to say a woman has a different interstitial sites in between, and her writing can have a distinct mode, or this writing is writing for women and by women. Clear? For example, you must be aware of gynocriticism given by an American writer. Another term in the French feminism is another writer is Luce Irigaray. Irigay's first and the most well-known body of work published in 1974. The most important book was Speculum of the Other Woman. It was published in 1974, and it analyzes the texts of Sigmund Freud, Hegel, Plato, Aristotle, Descartes, and Kant. These are all the Western major philosophers through the lens of phallocentrism. I'll explain this term in some of my other videos. It is related to the male dominion. Irigaray is the author of the works analyzing many thinkers, including This Sex, Which Is Not One. This is again a seminal work published in 1977. In this book, she has discussed Lacan's work as well as political economy. So it was all about Luce Irigaray. Now Julia Kristeva, the next name. Julia Kristeva is a major force, friends, as per French feminism is concerned. One of Kristeva's most important contribution is that signification is composed of two elements, the symbolic and the semiotic. Now, most of the students who have studied structuralism, those who have attended my classes, whether online or offline, they must be knowing that there are two terms. There is one we call symbolic, and the other is semiotic. Semiotic is the term founded by Ferdinand de Saussure. So Kristeva made a famous disambiguation of three types of feminism in her major essay, Women's Time, in her book New Maladies of the Soul, published in 1993. While rejecting the first two types, including that of Simone de Beauvoir, her stands are sometimes considered rejecting feminism altogether. Kristeva proposed the idea of multiple sexual identities. So up to an extent, we can say that it was Julia Kristeva who propounded and reverberated the idea of French feminism, because she says that sexual identity is not one, and it is comprising multiple identities against the joint code of the unified feminine language. Even you cannot say that woman or womankind is one. She says that even in womankind there are different sections. Clear? And the last but not the least writer is Brasha Ettinger. Friends, this writer's work was asked in net exam recently. She revolutionized the field of psychoanalysis. Brasha, I repeat the name for some of my students. Bracha, Brasha Ettinger, Ettinger. Okay, and she has revolutionized the field of psychoanalysis and cultural studies when she coined in artists' books. She exposed publicly starting from 1985, and in a long series of articles published in 1991, the concept of the matricial. Matricial is a word coined by her. You can write Matrixial, and proposed the feminine prematernal matricial time space of feminine or prenatal encounter event as source of human ethics and aesthetics. She says that it is not the society in which human being comes and then he or she learns the differences. It is actually prenatal, feminine prenatal matricial. This is a very important term. Then she invented and developed the matricial trans subjectivity theory, or simply the matricial, with original concepts like matricial gaze. This again, I will, like phallocentrism, I will explain in some of my other videos. Her major, line of thinking can be understood by the words like border linking, border spacing, matricial time space. I have already talked about copoiesis. There is another term which is very common these days. Witnessing, another term, co-inhabitation, and proposed the co-emergence of the partial subject of the non-I. She says that there is another person also, separate from the person whose self is governed by the society and the family. uh, Feminine prenatal encounter event. So that way we can say that she is influenced by like Jacques Lacan, Emmanuel Levinas object relations theory, and Gilles Deleuze, Felix Guattari, those two famous French thinkers who are very famous in the academia these days. And the event between the becoming subject and feminine sexuality and body psyche of pre-maternality informs human ethics as well as maternality. So she says that the ethics which a woman has been taught, they and whatever she understands, it is prenatal. It means somehow we need to understand this writer in depth, because if I say that she has altogether gone very ahead in the race of Julia Kristeva, Helen Sixus, and all the other writers, and she is the new sensation in the academia, Brescia Ettinger. So, friends, I was thinking to speak more, but I just want, like, my video should be short ones, so that students do not fear looking at the time, like how would we study these videos. Thank you very much.